What's going on, everybody? I'm gonna just do a quick breakdown, a few quick breakdowns for these fights this weekend. Three of them specifically. Starting with this one, Liam Paro against Richardson Hitchins. This is gonna be on dazn. I think the main card starts somewhere around 7 p.m. Eastern. All right, so it's not late. I think the main event is around 9:30 p.m. So it's gonna be a little earlier. And I should be going live, all right, but not for the entire like preliminary cards and stuff. I'll probably be on for the main event and the co-main event, which is pretty solid. You got Henry LeBron. He's gonna be facing off against Christopher Diaz, two Puerto Rican fighters that I like. LeBron, I got put on to a little more recently, but Christopher Diaz is I've been watching him for a long time. This fight is in Puerto Rico, by the way, being that Liam Paro upsetted Sabria Matias earlier this year in Puerto Rico. So even though neither one of these fighters are from Puerto Rico, they decided to promote and have this card in Puerto Rico. So you got Puerto Rican fighters on the card. So it makes sense. All right. Both of these fighters are undefeated. You got the Southpaw Liam Paro, who is defending his newly crowned IBF title against Richardson Hitchins, the undefeated fighter from New York. Um, and it's a good boxing. It's gonna be a chess match. It's definitely gonna be a chess match. Like I said, both of them are undefeated. Both of them started as pros roughly around the same time back in 2016, 2017. Paro has more professional fights. He definitely has the better KO ratio. But being that they're both boxers, I would probably put Liam Paro more in a boxer puncher where I would just put Hitchens more of a defensive boxer, sneaky power, but not known for his power, but very slick, slippery type of fighter. Definitely a defensive boxer. All right. And it's a good fight, the betting odds are kind of close. I made my bet and I'll speak on that at the end of the video. But I want to make this real quick, because I don't have a lot of time and I have to do a couple more videos. Um, Now I know how people are gonna look at this fight. I've had conversations with people, and I looked at the comments and most of the people that feel like whatever opinions they have. Liam Paro has the more impressive recent wins. In my opinion, I think people are gonna look at that, look at the fact that he stopped Montana Love, look at the fact that he was able to beat one of the most what most boxing fans consider to be one of the most dangerous fighters out there in Sabrio Matias, giving him his loss in Puerto Rico. I know those are more impressive wins. They just, those two different fighters with two different styles that was having a good run. I know Montana Love had lost or got disqualified not too long before that fight, but it's more impressive to stop him and drop him multiple times and being in Sabria and neutralizing such a monster in Puerto Rico. It is more impressive. Richardson Hitchins, he's coming off a close battle against Gustavo Lemos, and the fight that a lot of people think Lemos might have edged it out. He was able to hurt Hitchins and give him a lot of trouble. And then the fight doesn't age well because Lemos, who came in extremely overweight against Keyshawn, didn't even make the limit. The fight was set at 135. And Lemos came in over 140. And Keyshawn destroyed him in like 2 rounds. You know what I mean? And so the fight doesn't really age well. And I know people are going to look at that and just assume like, okay, well, this guy looked more impressive recently. Also, when it comes to Hitchens, he's not a knockout artist. He's just not. It is what it is. And he has fights with like, Bowser, which is, I peeped, I went back and looked at some of that fight because Bowser is also southpaw. Hitchens is a righty. So Bowser was a southpaw that he fought recently and dominated. And Zepeda is a guy that he also schooled. But the thing with Hitchens is that people didn't like the performance because even though he clearly outboxed Zepeda, he didn't change it. He didn't go into a different gear. Like he was easily winning and connecting, but he fought a very disciplined fight. Like he didn't change anything, you know. And I remember watching the fight and people thought it was boring. It was just like, yo, why don't he go for it? And Hitchens just didn't do that, you know. And I think he might have gotten some boos in that fight. I remember watching it live. So with that being said, Liam Paro is definitely the more entertaining fighter because he is a bigger puncher, and you know he pushes. You know, he's a counter puncher that he presses you. You know, he definitely brings pressure to you. You know, ask Montana Love and some of the other fighters he's faced before him. He didn't have to with Sabria Matias, but Matias is going to come straight to you. And I think he did a great job against Matias because when you fight a pressure fighter like that, guy that's just coming forward, you know, you have to be active, but you have to smother his offense. And he did that great. But this is a different kind of fight because Hitchens is not Montana Love. You know, I know Montana Love is a good boxer puncher, good counter puncher as well. But Hitchens is very defensive. You know, I believe Hitchens has the length, the range, knows how to use that range, has a phenomenal jab, and probably has a better chin. You know, and it's just great reflexes. I mean, again, defense, and legs. You know, he knows how to stay outside of range. He's not trying to knock you out. He will beat you on points and be okay with it. He's not trying to go and be reckless. It doesn't matter how much ahead he is on points. That's the kind of fight he's fighting. So we're fighting a very good boxer puncher against an even better boxer. You know, that's what we have in this fight. And we have a guy that's clearly taller and rangier, you know what I mean? And I think, in my opinion, is better at utilizing those boxing skills. You know, they're both good counter punchers, but I think Richardson Hitchins is a better counter puncher, even with his jab alone. Paro is going to have a difficult time just getting past the jab. You know, it's just the jab alone is going to be an issue. You know, when I watch Paro against like a Montana Love, for example, even though Love got stopped, but the jab alone was just a difficult, you know, it was a difficult tool that he was getting hit with jabs all night. And Hitchens is even better with the jab and the movement and the angles of Hitchens is another problem. You know, he just everything that Paro does from the outside, Hitchens does it even better. And Hitchens is even a better inside fighter than Paro is as well. They both have sparred with many, many fighters. You know, I've seen videos of different fighters that have told sparring stories between these two. Hitchens, obviously, I'm way more familiar with him and what he's done, being from New York and everything. So I've been familiar with him for a long time. But these guys, there's a lot of sparring stories between them, and just from what I've heard, it's just I have to lean towards Hitchens because as a boxer versus a boxer and believing that this is going to be a chess match, I think Paro has to do so much more to get his offense off. And that's going to lead to him lunging, walking into counters, even jab counters, the angles, and just Hitchens knowing how to get in and out. And if he decides to try to turn this into a dogfight with Hitchens and get close force his way in and try to smother Hitchens, Hitchens is more comfortable on the inside than Liam Paro. And I think he'll do the better work on the inside. I don't think it really matters. I know Hitchens had trouble with Lemos, but Lemos was just a rugged brawler type of style. You know what I mean? And Hitchens is clearly not great with that kind of pressure. But this is would be more pressure coming from an aggressive counterpuncher. And I just think Hitchens is quicker. I think he's gonna outthink Paro. I think he has the better ability, not by much, but just enough. And he's a better defender. And that jab, I can never stop talking about that jab. That jab is going to be a real issue for Liam Paro in this fight. And I see Hitchins winning this on points. And I actually placed a bet early in the week on Hitchins to win this fight on points. Yeah, I don't think I did it straight up. I got Hitchins on points. Anyway, Hitchins also, don't be surprised if he catches him with a good shot. Might catch him with a knockdown. Again, I don't think Hitchins is going to be looking for a knockout, but I think he's capable of dropping Paro. Paro's a good boxer, but he has to do so much more to get in range. And even when he's there, he might walk into a shot, and he's gonna have issues throughout the fight, right? But I think it's gonna go the distance, and I think Hitchins is gonna win this one. All right, good fight. Again, Paro, if you line the top 10, 15 up at 140, Paro is gonna do extremely well. He might even beat more fighters than Hitchins. But when it comes to this styles, I don't think the style works well with Paro here, because Hitchins is a better boxer, a better chess player, and it's going to be a chess match. All right, so let me know what you guys think. Again, I will be here going live. I'll probably go live somewhere around close to the end of this card before the main event. And then I'll stay on live to cover the other card that's going to be on ESPN. All right, with Oscar Valdez and Emmanuel Monteiro at the end of. All right, so please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.